Welcome to Australian Immigration News. This channel is brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services, the company I founded more than 24 years ago right here in Sydney. Tonight, the Immigration Department cracks down and fines non-compliant business sponsors. Unions demand an exploited workers guarantee. A 309 visa processing petition has been started for you all to sign. VETASSESS has new priority processing arrangements in place, and the Trade Recognition Australia has further processing woes. The Immigration Department is trying to look tough to crack down on dodgy employer sponsors by releasing this scary footage like this to the TV news programs.
Australian Border Force, search warrant, open the door.
In reality though, we do not live in a country where government departments break down doors in the middle of the night. You will notice the officer said that he had a search warrant, which can only be obtained by a judge when they are satisfied there are no options left. Most of the time they will come to a business premise like this.
From small family businesses to commercial enterprise, across the nation this month, 250 raids targeting companies that exploit migrant workers.
The Minister Andrew Giles was quick to release a statement about the 300 businesses that were inspected during the month of July, and I put the emphasis on inspected, not raided. The ABF is just politely carrying out visits to ensure everything is as it should be. I don't think it's really necessary for the media to portray doors are being broken down and scare all the business sponsors out there. And speaking of employers who do the wrong thing, a voice has been missing for the workers who are the victims of exploitation. Unions, lawyers and other groups have been calling for the government to give an ironclad guarantee they will not go cancelling visas on workers who lose their sponsorship permission. In an article in The Australian, Unions New South Wales Secretary Mark Murray is quoted as saying, "Temporary migrants who wanted to speak up about and escape exploitation did so at the risk of being kicked out of the country. This is because the employer can retaliate by anonymously telling the Department of Home Affairs that a worker is in breach of their visa." And that is a very accurate portrayal of actually what does happen. It is well over time that the government gave a guarantee to exploited workers, and we expect the Labor government will deliver on this in the next few months. Following our story last week about the 309 partner application woes of a 8-year waiting time on the department's website, we should mention the huge disparity lately between the 820 visa and the 309 visa processing time. This week we spoke to a couple who had waited for more than 2 years for their 309 visa to be processed. The visa applicant then came to Australia on a tourist visa and lodged the 820 visa as well. Yes, they paid $8,000 extra to do this. Well, it turned out their 820 visa was granted in just 2 months, whilst their 309 visa is still under processing. Will they get their money back for their 309 application? Unfortunately, probably not. Now, why is the Immigration Department so devoid of sympathy and compassion? They should process visas in order of application. At the moment, new applicants have a great run at the expense of people who have been waiting years already. And that is simply not fair or just. What concerns me is the department thinks it's okay to treat people this way when it is not. We were thinking about making an online petition for all 309 applicants waiting out there through the Australian Government Senate, but thankfully someone beat us to it. Now, I do not know Mr. Shah who started this petition, but what he has done should be supported. It has been well presented with a great speech on the impact of long-term processing delays can have on a family. And I'll spend some time here to read out what the petition says, for I'm sure all of us can relate to it. It impacts the relationship and life of two people. It impacts mentally and financially. It has a huge impact on the future goals and stability. Moreover, there is uncertainty and no accountability from Home Affairs. As a citizen of Australia, I believe the people of Australia have full rights for transparency from Home Affairs and provide them with adequate responses and answers. I firmly believe partner visas and other family visas should be prioritised, as there is an emotional and human sentiments and rights involved in it. In addition to that, the partner struggles with the relation by living apart and managing their long-distance relationship. All the normalcy of the relationship takes a hit. Home Affairs should take responsibility to primarily consider all the factors, which includes mental and emotional concerns. This petition is written from the heart of someone who is suffering with this long-term processing delays. I urge all of our viewers to go to the Australian Government website and electronically sign this petition. I will provide a link in the description of this video. It does not matter if you do not have a spouse application in process. It is the principles behind it that count, that all of you one day may sponsor a family member to come here. Currently, it only has 26 signatures, and I think we can support it to increase that number dramatically. And here are a couple of skill assessment updates. These days, obtaining a priority service for a VETASSESS assessment is very difficult. Now there are new guidelines regarding a priority request. They will consider such special requests if your visa expires within 8 weeks and you are unable to obtain another visa, you are turning 33, 40 or 45 within 8 weeks, your English test results, IELTS or PTE, expires within 8 weeks, your partner's skill assessment or English test result expires within 8 weeks. If you do not have an urgent reason, you can still apply for priority processing if you are extremely lucky to find a place. Applicants with evidence of an urgent need will receive the first allocation of places, and any remaining slots will be offered to other applicants in the queue. Remember, priority processing is available only for professional and general occupation. And TRA announces further processing delays for skill assessment applicants. On the 3rd of August, they released this news. The migration skill assessments and migration points advice programs are currently experiencing a significant increase in application rates. This is affecting processing times, and assessments are taking longer than 120 days to complete. If you have concerns about any visa deadlines, we ask that you please discuss these with the Department of Home Affairs. Please do not contact us for updates, as all applicants are being processed in order they have been received. Well, the old "please do not contact us" line sounds familiar, doesn't it? It is exactly the same advice the Immigration Department will give you when you try and contact them regarding your inability to get a skill assessment in time from the TRA. The Immigration Minister is also copping flack about the new labour agreement deal for a company to bring in 400 workers to help build a new electricity transmission lines in Australia. The ETU National Secretary, Michael Wright, said in an article in The Australian, the government was fully aware that this company wants access to 400 migrant workers, but has not committed to employ a single Australian apprentice on this project. It beggars belief that it would be signed off anyway. He seems to have a good point. Companies should only be given access to a large number of temporary workers if they can demonstrate a commitment to training apprenticeships or traineeships for local young people. Now it's time for one of our readers' comments. A number of you, like Shihar, have written in concern that no 191 visas have been granted yet in the regional provisional stream. Shihar writes, "Hi sir, please raise the issue of the 191 visa processing times as well. We have been told that 491 visa holders will get priority processing of their 191 visa, but it doesn't seem so. We don't want 191 to suffer like the 887 visa. Thanks." Yes, you're absolutely right, Shihar. Nobody wants a repeat of the 887 visa debacle of them waiting years for processing after already serving their time in regional areas. We will be asking the Immigration Minister to explain why the Hong Kong stream of the 191 visa has been processed so quickly, whereas the regional provision stream, as far as we know, none have been processed at all. That's all for tonight, everyone, and thanks for joining me. And those waiting for the 189 invitations, I think we may get some by the end of August. And as to when will the states receive their allocations, well, I think that may not happen till September, but we'll wait and see. Stay tuned for next week's edition and keep an eye out for our special programs regarding the rights of Australian citizen children who have temporary resident parents. Remember, we are always here to help when you need it. You can book an appointment time on the phone or just go to our website. We offer Zoom, Skype and telephone consultations. Now, as always, take care out there and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.